Hey everybody, it's Brooke with The Buttered Home and welcome to my messy kitchen. Today we have a real treat for you. We are going to be showing you how to make white chicken chili for this beautiful fall that we're having, and we're going to talk about how to make it 3 different ways. Now, the method I'm going to be using tonight is going to be for your electric pressure cooker. That's the quickest and the easiest, and we'll talk about how if you forget how to thaw your chicken out, you can still make it this way, and everything will be fine. So for busy cooks, this is your best option. For well-planned and well-thought-out cooks, we're going to talk about how to do this in the crock pot. And for people who like the slow-cooked but not as slow as the crock pot method, we're also going to talk about how to do it on the stove top as well. So let's get started. Here in my liner of my Instant Pot, I have 2 pounds of chicken breast. Now these are thawed, so the method we're going with today is going to be for thaw. But if they're frozen, we'll talk about that just a little bit. Now the method by which you mix everything up is going to be the same for the crock pot and for the stovetop. You're going to just throw everything in your pot and go. How long you cook it is the only difference that you'll find here. So let's start throwing all of our ingredients in, and we are going to start out with that 2 pounds of chicken breast thawed, and then a teaspoon of garlic powder. And don't worry about it if you get more on one chicken breast than the other. It's all going to come out in the wash. Then we're going to add in 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of onion powder. And I really like this recipe because we use dry spices as well as some canned ingredients, which makes this a really nice weeknight favorite. Then we're going to add in about 2 teaspoons of pepper. Now, if you don't like yours that peppery, you don't have to put that much in yours. I like to always tell people, you know, you season with your heart. So if you like spicy things, you could add in some spicy components, but really all you need are the garlic powder, the onion powder, salt, and pepper, because we get so much flavor from other sources with this recipe. So now I have 1 can of white northern beans, or you can use navy beans, and I'm just going to strain those off. And I did this with the lid on. It makes straining them off just a little bit easier, but you can also put your hand in there and carefully kind of do that and toss those beans in there. And then I have 1 can of pinto beans, and I'm going to just strain those. And if you wanted to, you could strain them and rinse them, but there's just really no need. We're going to be adding enough chicken broth in here that it kind of helps actually have a little bit of that liquid, because it actually thickens the white chicken chili. So we're going to put those beans in. And I do like using canned beans for this. You can use dried beans, but you're going to need to soak those overnight, or either pre-cook them in your Instant Pot. You can do that and cut your time down. But if this is a good weeknight meal, then this is the easiest way to do that. So now we're going to add in a cup of frozen whole kernel corn. And you can use canned corn, just drain it off. And then 1 whole jar of green salsa verde. And that, my friends, and I got the medium, not the hot. If you wanted to add a hot component, you can get the hot salsa verde and totally use it. And then to that, we're going to add in 4 cups of chicken broth. And I like using the reduced sodium just simply because I like to watch my sodium intake. So if you're watching your sodium intake, that low sodium option is a great option. Then we're just going to give that a quick stir, and then we will put this in our electric pressure cooker and set it to normal pressure and cook it from anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. We will allow the pressure to naturally release and we will be done. So let's talk about really quickly if you wanted to do this in a crock pot. You would do everything that we just did. You would simply just mix all of those ingredients together, and you would just stir it all together. You would put the lid on and you would cook it anywhere from, gosh, maybe 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours, just depending on how big your chicken breasts are. So 2 pounds of chicken breast is just depending on what, how big they are. These are pretty big, so it would probably take the full 8 hours. And then you're ready to eat after you shred that chicken. And then on the stovetop, you would combine everything in a large stock pot just like we did here, and you would bring it to a boil, and you would let it boil really fast for like 5 minutes, and then lower it to a simmer and simmer it for about 30 to 45 minutes. Shred your chicken, and then you're ready to eat there too. So we're gonna pop this in our Instant Pot, and we will be back in a flash to share this wonderful recipe with you. So stay tuned. Okay, everybody, we have finished our cook time, and I misspoke earlier. I got all discombobulated trying to keep up with my cook times for all 3 methods that I actually gave you the frozen cook time. So if your chicken is frozen, if you're like me and you're not good at remembering to thaw, your Instant Pot cook time will be about 28 to 30 minutes. And then you'll let it sit, turn the unit off, let it sit for about 10 minutes, and then release the pressure and take the chicken out. However, if you're using chicken that's fresh and it's not frozen, then it only takes about 18 to 20 minutes. I just can't keep all the things straight all of the time, I promise. So after our 18-minute cook time, I let the pressure naturally release for about 10 minutes. Then I carefully took my spoon and let the pressure out of the pressure cooker, and then carefully opened the lid, used some tongs and took out my chicken. And now I'm going to show you how easy this chicken is to shred and how beautiful it is. I love making chicken in the Instant Pot because it's so easy to shred. So let's show you how we did it. All right, so I took the chicken out and I have just placed it into a shallow dish. And you can do this a couple of ways. Probably the easiest way is just with 2 forks. And you'll see I got some beans and corn in here too, but it's okay because all this is going right back in. So you just take the forks, use one to hold it, and use the other to just shred it. Now you could put this in a big bowl and get your hand mixer out and also easily shred it like in a snap. But it is so tender and so cooked so well, it's easy, and then all I have to do is just wash the forks by hand. Not a big deal whatsoever. So now we are going to take this chicken, and if I can do this without burning myself because this is hot still, but all of our seasonings are in there. Our beans are nice and cooked. They're not too soft, but they're not too hard either. They're not mush, in other words. So that cook time is perfect for them. And then we're just going to just put our chicken back into that pot liquor. I call it pot liquor, but it's actually more like the broth in the soup. I should talk right. And so what I like to do at this point is just kind of let that chicken, now that we have shredded it, marinate in that broth. you know, 10 or 15 minutes. It's plenty of time. Plenty of time to get all that flavor from that salsa verde and the broth and all that good stuff, to get it back in there. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. So we're gonna let that sit, and then we're gonna be back with you and show you how glorious this is with the finished product. So stay tuned. Okay, we have let this sit for about 10 or 15 minutes just so that that chicken can soak up all that goodness in every single bite of since we shredded it. So now it's so easy. All you do is you just serve that up, and be sure that you get some of that beautiful broth in there too, and the beans and the corn. It's everything that you love in a regular chili. It's gorgeous, and I mean, it tastes so good. So I like to top mine with just a little bit of shredded mozzarella. Gosh, it's wonderful. And then maybe just a dollop of sour cream. Y'all, it just doesn't get, and I even like to give it a shake and get the hot sauce everywhere when I do it, but a little shake of hot sauce. And y'all, it is a glorious bite of heaven. It just is. And then just mix all that up. And look, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's probably way too hot for me to eat. But we're gonna try. How about that? Let me just get a good bite with a little bit of everything in it. So I got some cheese and sour cream and some of that broth in both beans and corn. And look, that cheese is just whoop. It's perfect. Y'all, this is the perfect thing. It's wonderful. It's just like chili, but with a different protein. All the components that we added in there give it that smoky chili taste. And if you like chili with beans, this is a perfect substitute. Also, this is probably a lot better for you because you're not using like a heavy tomato-based sauce that sometimes can be full of sugar. So this is a great alternative to that. And this is, like a lot of our other recipes, a good starting point. It is a good base. You can change it up, add some different seasonings, like cilantro would be really good in here. And there are all different kinds of things that you can do. This also freezes very well. Any leftovers that we have, because this is a lot of white chicken chili for just Big D and I. What I don't give to Tanner and Reagan, I'll probably put in freezer safe containers and freeze it. And then you just let it thaw in the fridge overnight, and then you can reheat it on top of the stove in a flash. It's hearty, it's warm, it's the perfect white chicken chili. And we hope that you guys make it and love it as much as we do. As usual, this recipe can be found over at thebutteredhome.com. We would love it if you gave our website a visit. We work very hard on that, and we work a lot of long hours on that. So, and all of our recipes there are free. You don't have to buy a cookbook. You don't have to pay for any kind of subscription or anything like that. All of our content is and always will be free to you. Also, if you're not already, make sure that you're following us on all of our social channels. We would love to have you on with us everywhere we are, because we share different content on different platforms. And as always, if you want all of our videos in one convenient place, make sure you head over to YouTube, search for The Buttered Home, and then when you find us, hit that subscribe button so that you can be notified when we drop new videos like this one. Y'all, it's fall. Let's enjoy some nice, good fall white chicken chili. How about it? So, as usual, we hope you'll be back with us next week for another wonderful fall recipe. And from the buttered home to your home, we sure love y'all. Bye.